Can you hear me?
Good day and welcome to Three Dudes and a Lady. Join us for a little inspiration, a little motivation, and perhaps a way to cope with your day. I am Mike from Virginia. My gratitude this morning is that we're all back together again.
Hey, good morning, folks. My name is Earl Rufa, hailing from the beautiful state of North Carolina. And my gratitude for this morning is simple pleasures.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Jay Anderson from the wild, wonderful state of West Virginia. My gratitude this morning is for aspirin.
Hey guys, I'm Christine Wright, hailing from the great state of Florida. My gratitude for the day is nature. Um, Last night's skies were beautiful, so hopefully you guys got to see them. I don't know, they were every color in the rainbow. So it's gorgeous. Today, Jay Shetty talked about A schedule and B schedule. Life is what happens to us while we are making other plans. This is a reminder that no matter how you expect to spend your time, there's always going to be disruptions, whether it's good or bad, and we need to embrace whatever comes our way. He's told a story about a friend that had a very rigid schedule, like me, very schedule oriented, right? His morning and day are planned out completely. And I guess when he went to work, his boss pulled him into an emergency meeting that he wasn't expecting. And it took a little bit longer. It took like an hour and a half. And then he had to do more work after that, right? So he became frustrated and upset, just like most of us would, right? And he felt like a failure. He went home and his family was asking him questions, did you do everything that you absolutely needed to do? Did you do good work? Will anybody be hurt because of anything you didn't get done? Right. And these are simple questions that we can ask ourselves when this happens to us. And it made him calm down, right? And these kinds of days happen to us all the time. We react a lot of times when this happens, though, we're reacting with self-judgment and stress. In reality, we did what we could, right? So how can we mindfully reassess this? And Jay was talking about having two plans, right? An A schedule that accounts for everything that we need to accomplish in a day, right? But a B schedule allows us to focus on what is most important that we can feel accomplished, right? And of course, the B schedule is going to be shorter. And then when the unexpected happens, cut ourselves some slack, right? I mean, and I am this person, right? If I have a schedule, and I just did this yesterday, yesterday afternoon, I made this morning schedule. Like I'm gonna wake up at 5:30, like I'm supposed to, and get all of this done in the morning, before 8 o'clock. And of course, I got sick, so I did not wake up at 5:30. So it threw like my morning routine off, right? I mean, I still woke up early and got most of it done, but I was missing stuff, right? I didn't get frustrated with myself, but a lot of times we will, right? Or if you have kids at home, a lot of times they can be really big disruptors because their schedule is way more important than yours, or they think so anyway, right? So, I mean, and it's hard to cut yourself some slack in the midst of all of that, right? What do you guys think?
First off, I think we have to sometimes look in the mirror realizing that we're not perfect. Okay. And that's the first thing you got to realize. And sometimes it's a hard thing to say because if you're setting the best expectations for yourself, you got to realize, okay, there might be bumps in the road that you don't know yet. And you have to learn to accept that. And the second thing that comes to me is balance. If you keep yourself balanced or try to keep yourself balanced, you may get everything that you want accomplished. But the question is, will the timing be there for you? I mean, to do everything in a timely manner to get what it is that needs to be done.
Yeah, for sure. Mike, Jay?
I think that when our jobs, our livelihood depends on other people reacting, and hopefully reacting the way that we want them to react, there's always going to be some chaos.
Mhm.
And
And
no one's ever going to react the way we want them to react, right? It's all about
exactly.
expectations.
And when I worked in retail banking, we never knew what was going to come through the door.
Right.
Luckily, only about 5 times with somebody with a gun in 20 years, but that happened too. And that really throws off your day.
You're not getting much done that day.
No, no.
It's amazing to me that we as humans forget that there is a schedule that is always altered through us, and it's called Mother Nature. Our weather, we take it as for granted, maybe. I don't know, but weather is really kind of like a schedule. You can schedule all you want around weather, but Mother Nature is going to do what it does. And for humans, that's what life is. Life is going to come at you no matter what, kind of like the weather. And it's amazing that we accept the weather, but we don't accept this. In reality, it's kind of the same, you know?
Yeah, because we can't control the weather and we can't control the disruptions normally, right?
You can't. You cannot. And that's really, it's the beauty behind Mother Nature, because sometimes it does allow you to slow down a little bit and think. But there's a resource that we've talked about over the last 2.5 years. It's a continuing resource that we always bring up. Excuse me. And it's called filling your calendar up, filling it out. The thing, and we used to talk about this when we did Dow sessions. You would get into a flow, and then something would come up, and then all of a sudden that flow's it's zapped, and then you get, okay, where do I go? Well, if it's on your calendar, what's coming next, at least you have a resource to go to, and you don't have to sit there and game plan all over. You can look at your calendar and say, "Yep, that's where I need to go," and shift that mind to the next whatever, and not mind game yourself to death trying to come up with a new plan. If you come in aimlessly into a day, that's how your day is going to end. It's going to be aimlessly through the day. You can pivot all you want, but you still need to have a general outline. Some of us are very detailed, aka Christine Rife. Mike Jones, you're kind of detailed to a degree. Earl, you and I probably are more alike on this side than those two. I think you're detailed. I was at one time very anal, very detailed, and it bugged the living pee out of me when things got altered. Now, the business that I was in at one time changed all that because I didn't have an option. Like the weather, every day presented new obstacles, and my role with what I did was to deal with those obstacles. And I think that helped me realize what he's talking about, a B list, the essentials. You don't have to be very descriptive, but you have to say to yourself or on the calendar, which is a great resource, this has to be done today. This. And at least you know those things, that those are the crucial things that have to be done. Okay. And as long as you know that those are the crucial things, the A and B list can be one list, truthfully, because we'll say the first 5 things on my list are the most important things for me to get done. The next 5 are if I can get to. So you can create really one list, but he's breaking it up for the purpose of understanding. And I just think sometimes we get caught up in the rat race. We'll call it that because really that's kind of what it is. And the expectations that we tend to set on ourselves because we are very critical of ourselves. And I think we have to be careful on that. And you can't make your list so long that it's unrealistic.
Right. You got to make a realistic list. But here's a key
Christine
thing,
Wright, you
Jay.
cannot make an unrealistic list, okay?
Jay, let me just put something in there real quick. people have to learn knowing how to pivot, even though if they're self-disciplined in their schedule, what it is they do every day. But sometimes, Mother Nature could throw a curveball at you. Anything in life can throw a curveball at you. Learning to accept how to pivot, if you had to pivot, sometimes it's hard for some people
We
because
probably pivot no less than 10 to 20 times every day and not even realize it.
right, exactly. And the
That
thing
might be a
is,
low number. I don't know.
right. But the thing is, sometimes we have to pivot, even
Kind of
though we
like
have no
me
choice.
interrupting you. It's making you have to pivot.
Yeah, pivot. Okay, so we
Okay.
have to pivot. Okay, Jay, thank you. I'm glad the comedy show has begun. Thank you. Anyway, just learning how to pivot certain things in what is in your business when you're on a certain schedule. Like if there's a tech issue, we got to pivot to using phone or meeting in person. Right. But whatever it is that you're doing in life, whether it's business or it could be personal for that matter, we don't know. But the thing is, sometimes you have to accept to learn how to pivot, even though some people are a one-track mind, say no, it's got to be this way, or it's my way or the highway. Well, that's a hard pill to swallow because sometimes you do have to pivot whether you like it or not.
Right.
That's
That's
what,
why you use buffers, right, in your
Right,
schedule. Like
right.
typically, like yesterday when I was making out my morning routine schedule, like I would leave 5 minutes in between each thing I was going to transition to because I knew like if something throws me off or something happens or a dog needs to go outside or come in or whatever, or kids are trying to talk to me, I know it's going to throw me off. Whereas if I build in buffer times, it's not going to throw me off as much, right? It's still going to throw me off. I may get frustrated, who knows? But at least I have a buffer in there as far as like 5 minutes of just buffer time.
well, I also think I think there's also a distinction, particularly for us that work from home, that this is a very important feature for us from working from home because when you're in a brick and mortar or a job somewhere, things can be redefined pretty quickly. But when
You're not really in charge of your schedule. So,
yeah, that's right. Here we are.
yeah.
And so this schedule is important to us, but pivoting is something that we do all day long and just don't even realize it. When the phone
Mhm.
rings, we're pivoting because we stop the schedule because we answer the phone to see what's going on. And then it's one of those things where at one time it tore my gut up just to get off of a schedule. It tore me up. And now, just like the weather, if it rains and you're supposed to be doing something outside, whether it's work, whether it's recreation, whatever it may be, plan B is there. You can't control that. Same with life.
Well, think about, I'll give you one occupation that has to pivot. Sometimes it's landscape workers because they try to get all their work when it's not raining. I mean, mowing lawn, taking care of like golf courses or, large family properties, people hiring them, but they know there's bad weather. You're not going to do the work in bad weather. You got to pivot to doing other things in your business.
We all
And
have to pivot.
yeah,
Every single human being has to.
Jay, I was just giving an example of that.
Sure. No, I get it. I get it. And it's a great example because you're right.
Right.
It is out of their control.
Maybe we shouldn't look at these as list. Follow me here. Let's look at them as flowcharts. You got A, B, and C on your to-do list for Monday. B doesn't get done. Draw an arrow to Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's so true. Like,
Long as-
and I think like what it was, there's a thing, I don't remember what it is, forgive me, but like there's a thing that talks about that where whatever you don't get done on Monday, you just shift to Tuesday. And then Tuesday, let's say you don't get stuff done because of distractions, you shift that to Wednesday, right? Now you still have to accomplish the most important things. And I think that's what Jay was talking about as far as the B schedule goes, is making sure that you're putting those big rocks in first, right? Which is the
Mhm.
B, the stuff that matters, right? Like, for instance, running an appointment, like that's a big thing, right? So
Right,
you don't want
exactly.
that. Like, so you have to, that's a big rock, right? So it has to go in there, or dial times, or whatever
Mhm.
it is that is important for you, that you have to get done in that day, right? Those have to go first
Right, exactly.
before your whole day gets thrown off, and then you all of a sudden you're frustrated, angry, mad.
And then the B side, or as I would like to put, the little rocks. Okay, if an appointment no shows or cancels that you and everything has to be rescheduled, that's when you get back on the phone, contact the people that you know that would probably fill in that gap. Say, hey, listen, I just had a cancellation. Let's book an appointment here. Try to fill in those gaps. Sometimes it's better said than done for some people, but it's something
Oh,
it's an
that's right.
element
Yeah.
to keep that in mind, to keep a balance through that day or for your week for that matter, to see, to make everything productive. So, you feel good about what you've done so far during that week.
Right. And when you're more, so like, Earl, you just brought up a good point. Like in the insurance industry, like a no-show, right? Somebody that doesn't show up to their appointment or cancels their appointment on you, right? If you're putting in more productive work, how are you feeling? Like, let's say you get back on the phone and you're like, I didn't like no-shows and I didn't like cancellations, but I kind of did because I knew that that was going to give me dial time, right?
Mhm.
Automatically, because if they were canceling, I already had allotted an hour and a half or an hour for that appointment. Now I have an hour and a half to dial, right? Or maybe to do my B list, right? Whatever it is. But all of a sudden you're productive in that time and your mindset will shift, right? To more,
Right.
because okay, so like if you have this no-show or cancellation, you dial, you book more appointments because of that. How are you feeling now?
Yeah. And that's what I think, Jay, that's exactly what Jay Shetty's trying to say here is if we don't have a backup, then we start going aimlessly at something, and that's where we get into trouble. And
That is
and
where we
then
get in trouble, for sure.
how easy is it to say, well, pass on it, I'm taking the rest of the day. How easy is it to say that? It is.
And
How
I've
many
been there,
times,
done
how
that.
many times have we done it? Yep, right up my alley.
Yeah, for
Right
sure,
up
no
my
doubt.
alley.
Yeah. Hmm.
Especially if it's a Saturday morning when everybody else is out having fun or doing life
Yes.
too. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And all it takes, Mike, on a Saturday morning is one pissy ass customer that answers the phone and says, "You woke me up. You just got me out of bed. How shame on blah, blah, blah." And you hang up. You're like, "You're right.
Done.
Let's go play."
That's when you really got to put the sledgehammer down and say, hey, listen, I'm sorry to wake you up at this hour, but I'm just getting back to you because I haven't been able to get back to you about this insurance or whatever. And then that's when you have to really you just get on the phone to the next customer. I hope you book an appointment. You just got to keep moving. Got to keep moving. Get over that
Definitely
fence.
easier said than done.
It is easier said
Yeah.
than done, especially for a lot of new people,
Uh-huh.
But
because
what you
I'm
really
telling you
want
right
to
now,
say,
it's hard. It's
It
hard.
is. Yeah,
this is
it
what
is
you really want to say. Damn it, the crystal ball's not working today.
for sure. Yeah.
Oh, guys, I think it's easy to see that we're not licensed therapists. Uh,
Nope.
but how unique is it that we see each one of us come with the angles that we do on these subjects? We listen to the AppCom within the app. We listen to Jay Shetty every morning, and then we get on and we discuss his wonderful way of self-development and personal growth. He's very good at what he does, and it allows us to think. It gives us for the resources to help control how we handle our days. Hopefully, you get something out of this as well. Please join us on a daily basis.
And please don't forget to come back, like, share, and subscribe for more content, and leave us a comment too. We'd love to hear from you. Deuces.
It is.
Peace.